In one of your more infamous debates, you said, "I'm not going to modify basic biology because it threatens your subjective sense of what you are."
Yes.
My argument is not that terms like biological female or biological male are necessarily
Like your hoodie, by the way.
offensive. My argument is that you are saying that referring to a trans woman as a woman or a trans man as a man or et cetera, is like inherently offensive or threatens biology. And I'm curious why it's so threatened when there's clear precedent for changing the language.
Okay, so he's not going to answer this, obviously. I have to say, in terms of delivery, I feel like you're doing a lot better than you probably gave yourself credit for. You're very obviously nervous. If you were a perfect rhetorician, then you would project confidence in your posture and your speech. However, despite being very nervous, you're not stuttering. Like, you're actually speaking really clearly, and that's very impressive. Most people, when nervous, essentially lock up and can barely speak. Back when I was less proficient at public speaking, I would do that too. That's like a normal response to anxiety in that situation. You're projecting a nervousness, but it's not affecting the delivery of your message, which is impressive, and you should be proud of that.
The term mother does not include father. Every category has to have boundaries.
Not answering
the boundary
the
of female starts at male. And when you start including male in the category of female, you are threatening biological definitions as well as basic truth.
Well, you could say the category of mother.
Also, what he's saying is taxonomically nonsensical. The boundary of male is at the end of female. What does that even mean? Are you saying everything in the universe that is not a male is a female? Like, what do you mean? Everything in the universe that is not a female is a male? That doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, he could be saying that there are only two categories, which is of course what he's trying to say, but the way he's trying to say it in this like edgy smart boy, like I through facts and logic, I will taxonomically lay out the definitions of it doesn't make any sense.
Starts at conception, or a biological relation to an offspring, but as we know.
But again, the idea that the idea of motherhood being the act of mothering, right? And that is a female. A female does the act of mothering. You can say that a female who does the act of mothering is a mother, but you also have a special category called biological motherhood. I'm not going to say that an adoptive mom and a biological mom have precisely the same definition. They don't.
Nobody said they do, but they're both mothers. And since an adoptive mom can be a mom, that means being a mom is not a purely biological. Notice that what he just said, by the way, is an acknowledgement that trans women could be, like, he did just admit, even though he can't grapple with it, that there are extra biological categories to these terms. There are exceptions that can be carved out. But again, like, he can't engage with it. And don't get me wrong, by the way, when I say this, I don't think if I was there, I could get him to acknowledge this. At most, what you could do is interrupt more frequently, project confidence, come across as sort of casually, disaffectedly amused by his inability to understand your question. What you want to do is fluster him. And the best way to fluster a person who's standing at a microphone behind a podium is to project to them that you're the one in control. Now, I want to be clear, even the best rhetorician alive, I mean, even like some hypothetical god of speaking, would struggle to produce the best possible outcomes in an environment like this. So I just want to be clear here. In a direct one-on-one engagement, maybe it's a different story, but in this environment,
underneath a subset of category called motherhood. That motherhood sometimes involves birth, sometimes it does not, but it's...
Sometimes the term mother is biologically determinative, and sometimes it isn't. I wonder if so you're just opening up the definition of motherhood then, huh? I thought the truth couldn't survive having definitions include things which clearly are not a part of the definition, but now you're saying... again, he's lost this argument. Anyone smart enough to see it knows this.
Certainly involves being a female.
What do you think about the distinction between cis women and trans women?
Explain.
Well, you're saying that a more inclusive usage of the word mother isn't particularly offensive because we also have biological mother.
Yes.
We've offered the
perfect. In terms of how you're doing this, delivery is the key. In terms of the messaging here, you are on point. In terms of how to project the messaging, the confidence in this case is key because the crowd is laughing at the difference in your projected assertiveness. He's up there being calm and calculated and rational, and you're there, a student, you're nervous, you're leaning into the microphone. That the laughing, the tittering is because they anticipate his epic ownage of you, right? The destruction of you. What keeps them from laughing is the fear that you might get him. So this is how confidence compounds, and the lack of confidence compounds as well. The more they titter, the harder it is to get your points out. The more the audience appears to be on his side, the less charity people will afford to your points.